what matters most in life. Today about a huge importance of spirituality, because life is spiritual. More on how to live, knowledge and skills needed to create the life you want. The best experience of life possible. And what can be more important than life itself, the nature of life itself? Is it physical? Is your life, is it who you are, your body? Is it your mind? Is it something you can grasp, that has a taste, a color, a smell? Or is it something that is not physical? That spirituality is something that is not physical. Now, nowadays we live in society that by far and large pushes you in a direction that all you are, that your life, what your life is physical, is your body and is your mind, your body and your mind, and you're focusing all your life on your body and your mind. And we live in the world that by far worships the body and the mind. That's how we live. That's what we strive for physical, for everything physical. Although the ultimate pleasure in life is something that's intangible, that's something that's an experience inside our body, isn't it? But we often disregard this because from a very early age we are pushed in a direction of physical, a body and the mind, and achieving and gathering things and everything that is physical. And then, life goes off like that very, very quickly, sometimes even much quicker than we can anticipate or would wish for. What we're not focusing on and what is a problem, a big sort of a mistake of our society, of the world that we live in by large, is that we're not focusing on the only thing that actually matters, which is spiritual, something that is not physical. Because life itself is something that is not physical. Who you are fundamentally is something that is not physical. And the sooner you grasp that, the sooner you realize that, the sooner you will open your life up to a more genuine, natural, and fulfilling and satisfying experience of life. And as long as you're hurtling yourself in direction of physical, whether that be mind or a body, because the mind is a physical matter too, mind is a product of your brain, which is a totally physical organ in your body. And what you perceive with your five senses is just what your physical capabilities allow you to perceive as a human being. We need to understand that what we perceive as the world, what we perceive as things around us, as ourselves, is just a show for the human beings, because we perceive what we can perceive with our senses that we have as human beings, as a complex system that we are as a human being. Now, it is exquisite. This system is exquisite. It's something that we can never, ever, ever create ourselves with all the science and all the so-called knowledge that we have today. It's beyond us. And there are so many things still about even our system, our physical system, that we do not understand after all these huge span of time that we exist as human beings. But we need to understand, and this is very important that we do understand that what do we see, what do we perceive as our reality is what we are allowed to perceive with our physical senses, what is censored through into our system by our physical senses, and what is then processed by our human brain and then projected, that we see inside us as images, as that appears thoughts, as what we live in, and then whatever thoughts we have that sort of influence how we feel, and that is all connected. And this is the reality that we think is reality, and in actuality it is not a reality. It is very little to do with the reality itself. If it is our perception of reality as human race. Even if you take an elephant or a wombat or a worm or a bird, each of these species would perceive what is differently because they have different senses, they have different systems, they have different sort of processes going on inside them. But that is what they perceive is their show. Like what we perceive as human beings is our show. It's just our perception, our show. It is not what is. It's got nothing to do with reality. So what is? What is life itself? What is that we are in actuality has got nothing to do with human. All these human perceptions, human processes, human projections, human thoughts, this is nothing to do with life, actual life as is. And as we were maybe taught at school, I'm not sure what they teach at school these days, but like there used to be some sort of a basic division, like in who you are as a person, as a human being, that you have a body, that you have a mind, and then you have a third dimension that is sort of a called maybe a soul or a spirit or whatever you call it, that is not physical. And often this third dimension is sort of considered as something that is actually not real. But you know what? I mean, this is the biggest joke of all. That's not a joke. It's quite tragic because we don't understand it and we don't live by it. This third dimension that is not physical is actually the only dimension there is, the only dimension that exists. That's how it is. I will leave you with this for today. It's a huge topic, so I can't possibly sort of discuss it all and reveal it all in one video. So please stay with me on my channel. There is heaps of other videos. There is also names and other channels that I mentioned that are huge and very important in uncovering for you this third dimension, the one that we need to focus on. And I also drop some programs that will help you with that. So spiritual, focus on spiritual. Stay with me. Talk to you soon. Ciao.